Hey there, folks, grab a coffee and settle in, because I've got a wild story for you, one that starts with a simple dream of a white picket fence and ends with a showdown that turned my quiet little neighborhood upside down. My name's James Carter, sheriff of Willow Creek County, and when I moved to the sleepy suburb of Maple Grove, I thought I was signing up for lawnmowers, kids playing tag, and maybe the occasional barbecue invite. Instead, I got Linda Hargrove, the HOA queen who thought she ran the whole damn town, and let me tell you, she picked the wrong guy to mess with. So, picture this. I'm a guy in my late 40s, spent 2 decades in law enforcement, seen everything from bar fights to high-stakes standoffs. After my wife, Emily, passed a few years back, the house we shared felt like a ghost town. I needed a fresh start, somewhere I could plant roots, maybe find a sliver of peace. Maple Grove seemed perfect: wide streets, neat lawns, houses that looked like they belonged in a magazine. I bought a cozy 2-story on Sycamore Lane, picturing lazy Sundays with a cold beer and a fence to call my own. That fence, classic white picket, straight out of a Norman Rockwell painting, was going to be my first project, my way of saying, this is my space, my sanctuary. I did everything by the book, downloaded the HOA forms, sketched out my plans, even dropped them off at the HOA office with a smile for Mrs. Delaney, the sweet lady who runs the place. 2 weeks later, I got my approval letter, complete with a little smiley face sticker. I was golden, or so I thought. That first Saturday, I'm out there at dawn, still in my sheriff's uniform because, well, it's comfy, and I'm not expecting company. Got my post hole digger, a stack of pine boards, and a thermos of coffee strong enough to wake the dead. The air's crisp, birds are chirping, and I'm feeling good, like I'm finally building something for myself. Then, I feel it hat prickle on the back of my neck, the kind you get when trouble's about to knock. Across the street, emerging from a house painted the most obnoxious shade of tangerine, comes Linda Hargrove. She's maybe 65, hair teased into a blonde fortress, wearing a lime green tracksuit that screams, I'm in charge. She's clutching an iPhone like it's a grenade, and her walk? It's not a walk, it's a march, like she's storming a castle. I brace myself, because I know this type. The neighborhood dictator who thinks every blade of grass answers to her. You, she barks, stopping just shy of my string line, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. What in God's name do you think you're doing? I keep my cool, years of de-escalating drunks and hotheads kicking in. Morning, ma'am, I say, tipping my safety helmet like it's a cowboy hat. I'm James Carter, just moved in, building a fence HOA approved. I gesture to my tools, my approval letter tucked in my pocket, thinking that'll shut her down. Nope. Linda's face twists like I just proposed a landfill in her backyard. Approved? She scoffs, waving a hand glittering with rings. I'm the HOA, or close enough, and this monstrosity ISIS an assault on Maple Grove's charm. Charm? Her house looks like a traffic cone exploded. But I stay calm, explain again, even offer to show her the letter. She's not hearing it. This is unacceptable, she shrieks, loud enough to scare a squirrel into the next county. You're lowering property values, you outsider. That's when it gets ugly. She starts muttering about standards and the kind of people we want here, her eyes flicking over my dark skin, my uniform, like they're proof I don't belong. I'm used to this crap, seen it in 100 traffic stops, 1,000 sideways glances, but it still stings. Then, she pulls out her phone, dials 911, and goes full Oscar-worthy. There's a man here, aggressive, building some illegal structure, threatening me. He's got a fake badge, pretending to be a cop. I almost laugh, because, lady, I am the cop sheriff. But I just stand there, arms crossed, as she paints me as the big bad wolf to the dispatcher. 10 minutes later, 2 of my deputies, Sarah and Mike, roll up, lights flashing. Linda's practically dancing with glee, pointing at me like I'm public enemy number 1. Officers, arrest this man, she demands. Sarah spots me, her eyes widening. Sheriff Carter? She says, barely hiding a grin. Everything okay, sir? Linda's jaw drops so fast it nearly hits the pavement. Sheriff? She sputters. Mike, trying not to laugh, turns to her. Ma'am, that's Sheriff James Carter, our boss. And that badge? It's real. The look on Linda's face, pure, unfiltered horror, is worth every second of this mess. They give her a stern warning about misusing 911, and she slinks back to her tangerine palace, tail between her legs. Round 1 to me. but I know this ain't over. Sure enough, a few days later, I find an HOA violation notice stuffed in my mailbox claims my fence is non-compliant and aesthetic vandalism. Non-compliant? I've got the approval letter, smiley sticker, and all. But Linda's not Dinesh, chair of the HOA's architectural committee, and she's weaponizing the rulebook to bury me in red tape. I call Mrs. Delaney, who sounds like she's about to cry. "Oh, James, Linda's passionate," she whispers. "She filed a complaint, so the committee has to review it." Review my ass, this is personal. I start asking around, and the neighbors spill the tea. Linda's been terrorizing Maple Grove for years, bullied the Garcias over a pergola, hounded old Mr. Thompson about his mailbox height, even threatened a kid for skateboarding. She's got half the block scared to sneeze without her permission, and I'm betting my being a black sheriff in her lily-white kingdom is driving her nuts. So, decided to fight fire with fire. I dig into the HOA rules, hundreds of pages of mind-numbing jargon, and spot something juicy. Linda's own house is a walking violation. Her tangerine paint's not on the approved list, her front yard's got 4 ceramic gnomes when the limit's 1, and there's a rickety arbor out back that's 1 gust away from collapse. I show up to the committee meeting, not in uniform, but in a button-down, briefcase in hand, ready to play her game. Linda's there, smug as a cat with a canary, gavel in hand like she's Judge Judy. "Mr. Carter," she sneers, "your fence offends Maple Grove's harmony. Cease construction, or face fines." I lay out my approval letter, my plans, even photos of picket fences from fancy neighborhoods. She brushes it off, ranting about visual flow and community standards. It's clear she's not budging, so I flip the script. "Since we're all about standards," I say, pulling out a folder thick as a phone book, "let's talk about your property, Ms. Hargrove." I slide over photos of her gnomes, her unapproved paint, her crumbling arbor, citing chapter and verse from the HOA rules. The room goes dead quiet. Linda's face turns the color of her house. "This is harassment," she squeals. "Just pointing out discrepancies." I say, cool as ice. "If my fence is a problem, surely these are too, right?" The other committee members, Mr. Jenkins and Mrs. Patel, look like they want to crawl under the table. Linda slams her gavel, upholds the violation, but I see the panic in her eyes. She knows I'm not backing down. Filed official complaints against her, and the HOA board called a hearing. Linda's a mess, claiming her gnomes are art and her paint's grandfathered in. The board's not buying either, hit her with fines, order her to ditch the gnomes and repaint. She's livid, but I'm just getting started. Then, one Saturday, I'm raking leaves when Linda storms out, wielding hedge clippers like a medieval knight. She hacks at my fence post, screaming, "You don't belong here, you black troublemaker." The neighbors peek out, horrified, as she lets loose every ugly prejudice in her heart. I stay calm, say, "Linda, that's vandalism, and I've got it all on camera. My security system's been rolling since her first stunt." Sirens wail Sarah and Mike again, in this time. They cuff her, reading her rights as she sobs about being the victim. Linda's reign collapses like a house of cards. She's kicked off the HOA, pleads guilty to vandalism and hate speech, pays fines, and takes mandatory diversity classes. Her tangerine house goes up for sale, new owners painted a nice, HOA-approved sage green. My fence. The committee approves it, no questions asked. I finished it that spring, and every time I see it, I feel a quiet pride, not just for winning, but for standing my ground. Maple Grove's different now. Neighbors wave, chat, and even throw block parties. Linda's shadow's gone, and it's like the whole street can breathe again. Looking back, it wasn't just about a fence, it was about belonging, about refusing to let hate win. I'm James Carter, sheriff, homeowner, and damn proud to call Sycamore Lane home. So, what do you think? Ever dealt with a neighborhood bully like Linda? Drop a comment, share your stories, and let's talk about what justice looks like in the burbs. Hit that like button if you're team picket fence, and subscribe for more tales from the front yard. See you next time.